SHMACKEMAGOB, my friends. It is I, and I'm here on Kiss Wednesday. I've done this before. I've done these, I've reviewed all the Kiss albums, but now I do that looking back on the Kiss albums 10 years, 9 years later after I do the review. And this time I'm looking back at Kiss Alive. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I even reviewed this, ever. Maybe I've talked about it in some way, but not like a review of Kiss Alive. So I think this is the first time doing it, but I think the reason I don't, do this review for this album is because I already reviewed all the songs on the first 3 albums, so it'd be repeating myself, except I'd be saying this version is better. Now, I think every version on here is better than the studio version except for one. And all the studio versions I love. They're all great. I love those first 3 Kiss albums. I love the studio versions, but it didn't capture the oomph that this one does. And the controversy, oh, it's been fixed up. Look, we didn't know this was fixed up till decades later, and we loved it. Now, there's a lot of people that once they find out, they're like, oh, fuck that, they get all mad about it. What about all those years that you loved this album? You never got mad at this album. All this inside stuff ruins music for, don't mean to offend, but it's true. It ruins music for pickle whistlers. I've said this before and I'll say it again. If everybody lived on a desert island and you loved all these albums without knowing the inside stuff, you'll always love it. You'll be like me, because no matter what happens and the inside, I'm still gonna love it. Once I love something, I love it, okay? Nothing of what happens in the background affects me at all. Music's music. I don't give a rat's ass what went into it. As long as it sounds good, that's all that matters to me. And this album, man, I remember I bought this at a young age. I bought this before 1979. I know, because I owned this before Dynasty came out. And the first one was double platinum, and I believe this was the second one, and then the Ace Frehley solo album. Or maybe it was Ace first, I don't remember. But I do remember owning this before Dynasty and the Ace Frehley solo album. And I loved it. And I owned it on 8-track. And I would listen to it constantly, and I was a big, big Kiss fan. And when the Love Gun tour came, I've said this story before too, but maybe some of you haven't heard this story. When the Love Gun tour came here, my brother was going. I begged him, please let me go with you, and he refused to take me. And later on he told me the reason he refused to take me because he didn't want me to see him smoke pot. Like if I was gonna be watching him. The only smoke I'd be wanting to watch is Ace Frehley's guitar solo, But that's besides the point. I love my brother. He actually bought me a ticket to the Kiss 95 convention. That was $100 in 95. It's a lot of money. He bought it for me because of the guilt he did back in 78. Well, anyway, the reason I bring this up is because I own the 8-track. So when he left to the concert, I was very depressed. So I went in my room to listen to my Kiss Alive 8-track. And he took it with him to the show so he could play it on his 8-track player in his car. Man, that was brutal. Anyway, later when I did get this vinyl, I would look at this album cover. Man, I would just stare at it and stare at the back and stare, and read these notes from the band over and over and over again, and look through this book, this little pamphlet book, and just stare at these pictures. They're such iconic Kiss pictures. And what can I say? I love this album, and I'll go through the tracks because I ain't doing it like my normal reviews where I, put video and talk about what I feel about the song. I'm just going to talk about how much they kick ass on here. And this is the best Kiss album featuring these 4 guys. And the best Kiss album, period. I would put it like this. Ace Frehley's solo album is the best, but these guys ain't on it except for Ace. Then this and Rock and Roll Over. Those are my top 3. And then Dress to Kill. I can go on and on. I think I already made a video of my favorite to least favorite Kiss albums. And spoiler alert, Crazy Nights all the way at the bottom. Yes, Hot in the Shade I like more, and I hate that album. So anyway, starting with Deuce, you know, and that iconic, I believe his name was J.R. Smalley, who recently passed away from cancer, so rest in peace, JR. He does the intro. You wanted the best, you got the best. And then they come in, the bombs. Deuce is a monster song. Great, great opening. Great opening line. Get up and get your grandma out of here. Awesome stuff. Then Strutter, 1-2 punch, man. And like I said before, man, on that first Kiss album, Deuce should have opened it, and Strutter would have been good as the second track or the opening track on the second side. Got to Choose, my least favorite on here, though I love it. You know, I love this version, but I'm not like the biggest Got to Choose fan. You know, I know a lot of you love it, but still, I mean, this album has no bad songs. If I had to pick my least favorite, it'd definitely be Got to Choose. Then that goes into Hotter Than Hell, which is awesome. And that bleeds into Firehouse, which is another one I like more than Got to Choose, but I would put that second at the bottom. But that solo, best part of the song. Ace, so amazing. And these four guys are so amazing. These four guys is Kiss to me. Every other lineup, yes, I loved Creatures, Lick It Up, Asylum, even Monster. I love those albums, but none of them are the pimple on the ass of this, or all the 70s Kiss album, excluding those solo albums except for Ace. But come on, man. Kiss, Gene, Paul, Ace, and Peter. That is the best. I don't care what anybody thinks. That's the best Kiss lineup, hands down. And most people think so too. I mean, did any other lineup sell out Tiger Stadium? Did any other lineup have better selling tours? This is Kiss, man. This is Kiss. Nothing to Lose. I love that song. I used to have that on 45, but studio version. But again, I mean, these versions are, as much as I like these studio versions, these versions smoke it. Come On and Love Me. Now there, you know what, I gotta say, I said earlier, there's one song on here that I prefer the studio version. It's not Come On and Love Me, but I will say this. I think Come On and Love Me is tied with the live version. I think I love that studio version as much as I love the live version. So that one's a tie. And that is like probably my favorite Paul song in this era. You know, I mean, I know Paul wrote Black Diamond. Black Diamond is my favorite of the 70s, of all 70s Kiss. Black Diamond is my favorite song. Yeah, so Come On and Love Me rules. Parasite, Ace ripping it. And again, studio version smokes, but this one smokes it harder. She is awesome with the guitar solo. A Wicked Lester song that had flutes, but they revamped it, and yeah, the guitar solo. That guitar solo is so iconic that fake Fraley Tommy Thayer does that solo now when he does his guitar solo. I mean, it just upsets me, man. How this guy not only wears the makeup, but actually does a guitar solo. You know, it's like, you know, if you go see any band play, and the guy comes out and does Eruption from Eddie Van Halen, you don't actually, I'm sorry, it wouldn't blow me away. It'd be like, you're not Eddie, bro. You're not fucking Eddie. Yes, you played it fine, you played it great, oh wow. But you know what, if you really want to impress me, you gotta be Eddie Van Halen to do Eruption. And you gotta be Ace Frehley to do this guitar solo, or fuck it, I don't care. And then, you know, on top of that, he sings Shock Me. All right, Watching You. Yeah, great, awesome, fucking Hotter Than Hell song. Love that. 100,000 Years, all right, the drum solo. Now here's the thing. This album was touched up in the studio, but everything you hear on this album with Peter Criss is completely live. Peter Criss did not have to touch up anything. And that drum solo, man, Paul Stanley. Oh, it sounds like Ricky Ricardo. Fuck that guy. Seriously, man. You're gonna bash Peter Criss? What he did on this album? You had to go in there and fix your shit. This guy didn't have to fix anything and you're bashing him. Give me a break. Fuck that guy. Seriously. Love his songwriting, love his voice back then, you know, but as a human being, he really sucks. He sucks. But hey, you know, whatever. At least, you know, he's not as bad as Sammy Hagar. Whole other story. Where are we? 100,000 Years. Iconic. Badass. Love, love, love Peter's drumming. Love it. Love the drumming on this whole album. Black Diamond, like I said, man, my favorite Kiss song. My favorite song on here. Studio version's great, but I hate the end of it. This is just, it really does capture. You know, it's like, it's, you know, for years we didn't know this was touched up because it doesn't sound touched up. It feels like you're there, at least it does for me. I feel like I'm at the show experiencing it. I mean, there's a vibe to this album. You know, it's got this aura that it feels like I'm there. And Black Diamond, amazing. I mean, it should have ended the album, which is kind of weird. You know how that's like the end of side 3. But anyway, then we go into side 4, Rock Bottom. Love it. I mean, that studio version, that intro goes on way too long. Here they cut it down necessarily, but I understand. Dress to Kill, there wasn't a lot of material and they try to bleed it out as much as possible. I even believe the silence between songs is more than usual, just to make the album like barely scrape 30 minutes. Cold Gin, and there's Paul Stanley. You know, Paul Stanley, known as the greatest frontman to many people. Terrible. And this is like the best Paul Stanley can ever be. It's not so, you know, people, but still, it's a little cringeworthy. I was talking to somebody backstage before. They said some of you like tequila. To me, it's like, it's so, but it's great compared to, you know, she took down my 501 jeans, reached down, started making out with her. You know, you listen to that, then this ain't that bad, is it? But Cold Gin rips, ripping too. Rock and Roll All Night, that's the song. I love it, awesome. It has a guitar solo, but I prefer the studio version with no guitar solo. I don't know what it is. I mean, I am burnt out on the song, but if I had to choose, if I got to choose, Rock and Roll All Night with the tambourine and shit, I love it. I love that studio version more than the live version. Though this is not bad, you know, but that's the one song I will say I prefer the studio version. Then Let Me Go Rock and Roll, which is probably my second favorite on here, or pretty much tied with Black Diamond. Let Me Go Rock and Roll, I mean, that studio version is like, what, 2 minutes? And how long is this version? I know they do a little jam. Also, they do that little jam on She. I love that shit. 5 minutes and 9 seconds. And I think the studio version is, what, 2 minutes and 10 seconds? So I love that extended jam they do on it. And it is, now that I think about it, it is a great closer to the album, you know? You know, if they were to record this today, it'd be Rock and Roll All Night ending it. But there you go, man. I absolutely love this album. I think it's Kiss at its zenith, and or zenith, whatever. It's just amazing, and I don't think I ever did a video solely on Kiss Alive. So I'm glad I did, and I'll do one for Kiss Alive 2 and Kiss Alive 3 and whatever. I'm not going to be kind to all the Alive albums, because, spoiler alert, I think Kiss Alive 3 sucks. I really do. But there's one song on there I like, but it's a song that's on here, but this version blows it away. But you're gonna have to wait till I talk about that. Anyway, that's what I think about Kiss Alive. It's epic, it's awesome. It's what saved Kiss. You know? This album saved Kiss. A lot of people saved Kiss. Peter Criss saved Kiss. Destroyer was dead in the water. Then it's, you know. Ace Frehley saved Kiss for the solo albums. And Vinnie Vincent saved Kiss. I know a lot of people don't agree with me on shit like that. Eric Carr saved Kiss as much as Paul Stanley did. Paul Stanley gets all the credit of saving Kiss in the 80s. Dude, Eric Carr was there kicking ass the whole time. So I feel like he saved Kiss with Paul in the 80s. But, you know, Paul did save Kiss in the 80s because Gene didn't care. But oddly enough, I already did a video of this. I like more Gene songs than Paul songs when Gene didn't give a fuck. Alright, who else saved Kiss? Nah, that's about it. Oh, Peter and Ace saved Kiss in '96 because they were dead in the water. They were dying in the water. They were drowning, and these two come back and they do the biggest tour of the year. I believe in even better than the Eagles. I think I saw that in that documentary. Gene, Paul, Ace, and Peter. That is Kiss to me. The definitive. Everything else does not hold a candle to this, I think. Anyway, hey, thank you all for watching. If you'd like to donate, I got a PayPal in the description below. And please donate. I mean, not donate. I'm not going to beg you to donate. I'm just asking if you'd like to. But I will beg you, please subscribe to my channel. I would love that. All right, everybody. Have a good one. Stay frosty. Listen to Black Sabbath. And SHMACKEMAGOB.